Hi, welcome back to Local Living with Reed Casey team. I'm Catherine Williams with Reed Casey, and today we're going to talk about home improvement and updates you can make to your house from low end to high end. So, Reed, let's talk about things that sellers can do to update their houses to get them ready to go on the market. Some updates they can make from simple, low cost, but have a big impact to the higher end updates they can make that will make a huge impact. So just talking about some of the low cost, easy fixes.
I think really before this conversation starts, with every seller, they typically have a threshold of how much money they're willing to invest, spend, time, effort. How fast do they want to get their home on the market, or how many dollars do they really want to spend, or how much effort do they want to exude? So I think determining that first, Catherine. Whether it's hey, listen, we just want to slap as much lipstick on this as possible to, we really have a budget of 20, 30 grand, or Reed, if you can tell us how to double our money, we'll spend whatever you tell us to do if we can see a return. I think starting with the prior, I think some of the most basic things that we see that make the biggest bang or biggest difference before we list house is the exterior. Just starting with pressure washing. I'm with Catherine. I think the pressure washing is the biggest return that you will get on your house. Just cleaning up driveways, making what was it, revitalizing?
Driveways, walkways,
Yeah.
front porches, even the exterior of the home, front and back, or your deck.
Well, there's a couple things. So obviously it's going to make the exterior sparkle, from gutters to exteriors to, water that splashed up on the kind of the water table of the exterior of the house and the brick to driveways. But it also makes it smell better. You almost got that clean, Cloroxy smell as you're walking up to the house, and it actually makes it feel just more fresh, to be honest with you.
A couple other things on the exterior could be some of the landscaping, just cleaning it up, putting down some fresh mulch or pine straw in certain areas.
Yeah, we really focus on borders. So making your borders clean, walkways, even if you have a huge backyard area and maybe you have a ton of area that's could be pine strawed, and you don't want to spend thousands of dollars on pine straw. You want to kind of put that money somewhere else. Even just bordering out your edges and making those look fresh.
Agree. And even at the front door, if you want to just freshen up by having little potted plants flanking the door, if you have the space, that's always just a welcoming area for buyers, or even a fresh doormat.
Well, I would say if your garage door faces the front, garage doors, having them repainted, especially pressure washed, or any trim areas taken care of. As people are walking into a house, a lot of the houses that we sell have garages, or you're passing the garage on the right, and those windows sometimes can get overlooked, even with cobwebs on the inside of them, because nobody ever looks through them. So making sure the windows look clean, glossy. I would take off the window screens on the exterior windows and making sure that all the trim or wood rot is taken care of. And then, Catherine, repainting the front door and making sure that that front doorknob and everything works functional, because it's just an area that none of our sellers use a lot, so they don't pay attention.
So let's talk about interior updates that are simple fixes.
Yeah.
Paint goes a long way.
Yeah.
Whether it's walls or trim, or even cabinets. If you have great cabinets, but the color's not appealing, or maybe the wood is that orange, older tone,
Yeah.
if they're paintable, paint them.
Yeah, surfaces, right? So wall coverings, floor coverings, that seems to make the biggest difference from aging a house. Even if it's 10-year-old paint, I mean, it throws it back into a whole different decade of what people expect to find more modernized house now.
Yeah, some other low-cost things could be doorknobs, door hinges, cabinet hinges, maybe cabinet hardware, or even if your bathrooms or kitchens look great, but say the faucet is maybe a little bit older, change that. That's a simple fix.
Yeah, I'd say things that people touch, right? Those would be cabinet knobs, door knobs. Make sure your door hinges match your knobs, if at all possible. And lighting. People don't touch lighting, but man, that could be kind of the bling that can make a real different feel to a house.
Yeah, lighting is definitely important. The first impression when you walk into a foyer and it's got a dated light fixture, you could spend, $100 to $1,000, just depending on the size and scale that you're trying to find, and then paying the electrician to hang it. That's a little bit of money to invest that you should get back.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, we even just did a house located here in Milltown, Jasmine, that when you went in, you really kind of gave a consult on the paint colors and the lighting colors. Everything else is pretty simple from there. I mean, as long as the house is really kind of taken care of, we can take care of the staging around it, but just those two things in that house made a real difference.
But another thing could be your bedding or any of your pillows, throw pillows, any of some of those simple things like throw pillows, blankets. If it's a very busy pattern on a bed or pillows, just find some simple, basic colors,
Yeah.
but that are still nice in texture and they're updated.
The quilted patterns, busy patterns, especially in our photos as we market online. We have to get people to be interested online before we get them in the house. And if we show too busy, it just kind of is wonky as people are scrolling through. So simple, clean line. I'd say another really simple one, Catherine, is closet spaces. It seems like over the decades from 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s, like closets get bigger, right? They just get bigger. But if you have a house that may not have as much closet space, one trick that we use is just getting things off of the floor in the closets, and it can make the closet look double in size. So, especially for master bedrooms, closet space is something people want these days. So,
Yeah. Move all of your stuff into, say, an attic, a basement, or into the garage.
or storage, hey, $100 a month storage unit is way worth it to make spaces look bigger.
Mhm. So let's talk about some of the high-end updates you could make, starting with the kitchen. Of course, everybody knows kitchens and bathrooms will help sell your house.
Yep.
But let's talk about the types of updates you can make. In the kitchen, it's either go all in or make the necessary updates, whether it's your countertops, painting your cabinets, updating the hardware, the appliances.
Yeah.
Sometimes the appliances can really deter buyers.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think ultimately here it is going to depend on the budget of the seller, right? I mean, obviously we're going to take that into consideration, and I'd say if you can at least get to past step one. Step one on a major renovation would be to make the kitchen or bathroom presentable enough where a buyer doesn't feel like they have to change it on day one. If they walk into a house and they say, "Oh my gosh, like, oh my, I'm going to have to completely gut this kitchen." Really, if you can take it just with a little investment to step two, that would be they walk in and they say, "All right, I can work with this. Maybe I don't, it's presentable enough to have guests over day one, but eventually I'm going to want to change it." And I would definitely start in the kitchen and then move to the master bedroom or master bathroom, mostly because guests see your kitchen. They don't really go into your master bathroom. It's a project that can be put on hold.
Yeah, we see a lot of times where houses are updated except for the master bathroom is always the last thing to get updated because that's the room that the least people see. But that being said, a master bathroom is a major update.
Oh, yeah.
So if that can be done and you have the budget and you know that you'll get the return, go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say if I was prioritizing these, I would start with making some smaller investments to the exterior of the home, making the curb appeal look great. Obviously, making some of those larger spaces like wall coverings. If your floors look absolutely terrible, investing in some floor coverings, lighting fixtures, things that people that can really be aesthetically pleasing as somebody walks in the door. Moving into the kitchen, I think is where I would go next, if possible. Then from there, go to master bathroom. I would not worry about the secondary bathrooms as much. Most of the people moving around here have kids, and it's like I'd rather have it for myself, and the kids can deal with it for a minute, and then probably move to other spaces.
And then the final thing I would say is if you have a basement, if it's unfinished or if it's partially finished but maybe dated, if that is a space that's important for that particular area, for if it's like a family-oriented area, make the updates or maybe even give an allowance.
Yeah, perhaps it's funny because some extra spaces like that, especially depending on the price point, are sort of going to be expected. So if we're in a luxury price point plus 2 million, sometimes finishing out those basement areas to make sure that you're going to appeal to the home buyer that you want that may be shopping other houses that have a finished basement. Some of those finished basements may have bars in them or theaters or other spaces. So making sure that you have that extra space finished is key. And I'd also think about the exterior too a lot. I mean, if you don't have a pool and you're at a price point that really should sort of be competing with other houses, not that you have to put in a pool, but making it presentable enough for a pool, making sure that somebody can see a pool where it would go, or some of those outdoor amenities is clutch. So we're sort of talking about cosmetic improvements here. Obviously, those are some of those things we can get a return on. It is going to be hard for people to look past deferred maintenance on things. So things like roofs or old HVACs.
water heaters.
Yeah, I mean, some of those things aren't that costly, but if you have an older HVAC, making sure that it's serviced, making sure that it's at least in tip-top working order as far as you can tell. With the insurance companies not insuring older roofs, sometimes that can be a point of contention. But I tell you, most of the time, Catherine, most of the time, people are more wowed in aesthetics, design, things that they don't have to renovate, rather than maybe even a little bit of deferred maintenance on the house. Thank you, Catherine. This is her idea today to talk about this. This is one of her passions, and I really appreciate it. If you're interested in getting more information like this or following us, please hit that subscribe button. We are on all podcast platforms. And if you're on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Hopefully, we can give you more value. I'm Reed Casey. This is Catherine Williams, and we'll see you next time.